Chapter 131. Seeing Gu Ziming being scolded, Su Anan was very pleased. She supported the old lady Gu and said, "Mom, you are so nice." She smiled and said to Su Anan, "Mom made you soup. You go back and drink." Hearing about the soup, Su Anan's smile froze. Why did she still want soup? When the three of them entered, she was wearing slippers and shouted at the second floor, "Old man, Ziming is back." While speaking, old lady Gu walked straight to the living room. A servant had already set up the mahjong table, and she sat down happily. She, Gu Zhen, and Gu Ziming were usually the only ones there. Sometimes Gu Zhen would put on airs for her, but he was still not willing to play with her, so the servants at home didn't dare to play with her. The main thing was that old lady Gu was a money grubber. She had to play with money, and she had to play with money. The old man was also a pampered husband, so the bureau department gave the old lady waterproof. They wouldn't dare to play with the madam with such a small salary. Gu Zhen walked down the stairs with a cold face. When he was young, the old granny hated the Mai general playing cards, and felt that he was just messing around. These past 2 years, when he was old, she liked the Mian general, and the addiction was still big. "What are you dawdling for? Come down quickly," old lady Gu shouted in annoyance as she saw Gu Zhen standing at the head of the stairs. As Gu Zhen came down, Gu Ziming walked in front of him and asked softly, "Grandfather, is she really my second uncle's wife?" Gu Ziming still held a skeptical attitude. He knew that his second uncle had married a wife younger than him, but seeing her was a completely different matter. He could not accept it, and he still had to call Su Anan aunt who played with him. Before his anger could leave his heart, it had to be suppressed by Su Anan's seniority. "Yes." Gu Zhen nodded and looked unhappily at Su Anan, who was helping the old mistress pour the water. "What are you talking about?" "The people of old lady Gu were old. They were not deaf?" she asked. Gu Zhen walked over and said, Ziming said, "Why did Mo Cheng marry such a young wife?" Shame on his face. The reason was mainly because he was dissatisfied with Su Anan. Shame on him? Hearing that, old lady Gu said unhappily, "That's because your second uncle has great ability. Marry a little girl if you dare." She looked at Gu Ziming, who had walked in front of her, stood up and threw a punch towards Gu Ziming's back. "Let me tell you, if you dare to bring back that messed up girl, I'll let your grandfather beat you to death." Beat him to death? Gu Ziming felt wronged to death. So he asked his grandfather, was that really his second aunt? He was beaten and scolded by his grandmother. People were already stupid, and getting beaten up by grandma made them even more stupid. As expected of Anan, old lady Gu turned to look at Su Anan and praised her with a smile. "Cheng Cheng has good eyes." Gu Ziming stared at Su Anan. His grandfather and grandmother were blind. How could they think that Su Anan was obedient? "Grandma, how is she obedient?" Gu Ziming asked. After he finished speaking, the madam reached out her hand to hit him again. Just as he wanted to escape, he was pulled by Gu Zhen, who was behind him. Old lady Gu slowly walked over and knocked him on the forehead. "Everywhere is more obedient than you." In any case, the more she looked at her daughter-in-law, the more satisfied she became. She was extremely fond of her daughter-in-law. Seeing that the old lady Gu was protecting Su Anan, she glared at Su Anan again, and Su Anan smiled at him. They took their seats and began rubbing the mahjong. Before the fight started, the old lady Gu suddenly thought of an important question. "Anan, did you bring any money?" Su Anan touched her own wallet. There were a few $100s in her pocket. That should be enough. "I have $400 or $500 in my bag." After she finished speaking, the old lady Gu frowned and said, "Cheng Cheng is so petty. I'll give you some money." "Forget it. You go ahead and hit him. When we get back, I'll ask him for it." Su Anan could tell from old lady Gu's mouth that this little amount of money was not even enough to make a general. Did they have a lot of fun? Also, why does old lady Gu think that I have to win? "Grandma, how dare you ask second uncle for it?" Gu Ziming smiled and asked old lady Gu. Old lady Gu was confused. She was afraid of her son. Gu Mosheng had never liked this kind of thing. If he found out that she was playing mahjong with his wife, he would definitely be miserable after he returned. Thinking about his son's extremely cold face, old lady Gu's heart trembled. "Anan, write a promissory note. Give me back one every month," the old lady Gu said. "You can't just stop me from fighting just because you don't have money, right?" Su Anan knew how to play mahjong, but she wasn't as obsessed with mahjong as the old lady. Listening to old lady Gu's words, she felt that something was wrong. Why did it feel like she would lose so much money to the madam after she finished rubbing? "Grandma, you might not necessarily know how powerful second aunt's rubbing ability is." Gu Ziming laughed and raised his eyebrows at Su Anan. Just as he finished speaking, old lady Gu knocked heavily on his head yet again. You brat, why are you giving your second aunt such a coquettish look? Don't just look at how pretty and obedient your second aunt is. You want to chase after her? When your second uncle comes back, he'll definitely beat you to death. Gu Ziming was wrongly accused of so much. He was not winking at her. He was provoking Su Anan. After looking at it for a while, old lady Gu finally understood why Gu Ziming was so stupid after hitting Gu Ziming 4 or 5 times. He was beaten up by the old lady Gu, and Gu Zhen, who was at the side, did not care about his grandson being beaten up at all. He had even helped old lady Gu to beat Gu Ziming up. Su Anan touched her forehead. The Gu family members were too different from what she imagined. Grandma, stop hitting me. I've been beaten stupid by you, Gu Ziming said, and the old lady Gu knocked a few more times. It was good to be stupid, but later on, he would earn more money from Ziming. If Anan lost too badly today, she would definitely come to the house to accompany him the next time. Anan, you don't know how to knead mahjong? The old lady Gu asked again. Su Anan was startled and said, not really. From their words, he could tell that Gu Mocheng disliked mahjong. If he knew that he could, he would be unhappy. That's good, that's good. Hearing Su Anan's words, the old lady Gu said with relief. Just as it started, Su Anan's phone rang. The other 3 people who were sitting quieted down, not daring to speak. What they were afraid of was Gu Mocheng's phone number. Su Anan looked at her phone. It was Gu Mocheng's phone. She accepted the call and felt too embarrassed to call him husband in front of Gu Zhen and old lady Gu, and all 3 of them had their eyes fixated on Su Anan. What are you doing? Reading. Su Anan lied. Gu Ziming saw that Su Anan was lying and did not panic at all. Since when was second uncle so stupid? Bang! He purposely shouted out, shocking old lady Gu so much that she raised her hand to hit him. Gu Ziming was beaten to the point of touching his own arm. He looked at his grandfather who was standing opposite him. When Gu Mosheng heard the commotion over there, he did not say anything. Su Anan first said, Mom will call Ziming back and have me help him with his homework. Su Anan explained, however, he doesn't want to read books, so he just plays mobile games beside me. After hearing what Su Anan had to say, Gu Ziming was angry. Where was he in the game? In order to play with the old lady, he had specially come back from lessons. You? He did not finish his sentence. Old lady Gu was already standing beside him with her hands raised, looking at him menacingly. As long as Gu Ziming dared to speak carelessly, she would mercilessly attack him. Let him go back to his room. Don't disturb you, Gu Mosheng said coldly, obviously thinking that if his nephew was not obedient, he would bring Su Anan down. I'll let him go now. You tell my mother that he affects your reading? Oh, Su Anan replied. After Gu Mocheng finished speaking, the assistant came over to inform him that he had made an appointment with the person in charge of Exu. He turned to Su Anan and said, I'm busy right now. I'll hit you later. All right. After Su Anan finished speaking, she hung up the phone. A phone call made old lady Gu extremely nervous. She immediately asked Su Anan, did Cheng find anything? Nope. As she spoke, she looked at Gu Ziming, who was unconvinced of his defeat. He said that Ziming was not obedient and wanted you to teach him a lesson. Your father will take care of him after you finish rubbing mahjong. Gu Ziming wanted to cry. He didn't even attend class. He just came back to play mahjong with the old lady, and he was treating him like that. And I still need this Su Anan. How could this woman be his second aunt? She didn't even dare to think about her second uncle after coming back for revenge. When Su Anan began to fight, she did not dare show that she knew how to rub mahjong, so she purposely slowed down her pace and fought in a mess, allowing old lady Gu to win a few rounds in a row. Do you know how to fight? Gu Ziming said unhappily to Su Anan as he took out his own money. Su Anan laughed. What she wanted was for them to think that she didn't know how to play mahjong. When old lady Gu won 3 rounds happily, Su Anan felt that something was wrong. Even if she had purposefully made the wrong move, old lady Gu had always been the victor. In the 4th round, Su Anan had already lost all the money she had brought and owed them everything. Gu Ziming was unhappy as he saw black and white when he did not receive the money. She said to Su Anan, next time, I'll need more money. I have to give you less than 10,000 yuan. Just this bit of money isn't even enough to play a game. Su Anan was feeling heartache over her 400 or 500 bills and her pile of promissory notes. She lost a few $1,000s in 3 games. Who knew that Gu Ruoyun liked to play the big game, not to mention the general? If it wasn't for the fact that she didn't bring much money with her, the old lady would have brought even more money with her. Second aunt can swipe his card. Gu Ziming reminded old lady Gu. Su Annan immediately thought of the black card that Gu Mocheng had given her. She shook her head and said, "All of my cards are with Mocheng. Since you said I'm a student, I have to save a bit." Hearing Su Annan's words, old lady Gu felt that her son was really annoying. Su Annan was puzzled. She realized what kind of card old lady Gu was playing. Gu Zhen would probably do it in time. No wonder it was all old lady Gu who won. So it was Gu Zhen who went easy on him. As she was thinking, Gu Ziming stepped on her leg. Gu Ziming had always known that Gu Zhen was going to go easy on old lady Gu, so it would be difficult for him to win money from old lady Gu. He had to be beaten up, and if he didn't, he would end up getting beaten up by his grandfather. At most, they would lose their living expenses, and then Grandpa would give him double the amount. Gu Ziming didn't believe that Su Annan really didn't know how to fight. He didn't believe that Su Annan would like to lose money to her grandmother. Su Annan looked at Gu Ziming, who took the chance to blink while Gu Zhen and old lady Gu were looking at their cards. Was he looking for cooperation? Su Annan thought. Don't cheat. Gu Zhen's eyes lit up. With Gu Ziming's little trick, he could not escape his eyes. Old lady Gu raised her head, looked at Gu Ziming, then looked at Su Annan. As long as it's fun, it's fun. What's the point of teaming up? That was right, but wasn't old lady Gu allied with Gu Zhen? This was definitely a state official lighting a lamp to prevent the people from setting fire to the city. Mom, Ziming asked me to play cards with him. Su Annan immediately sold out Gu Ziming, and she laughed while saying to the old lady, "Do you want a bill or a bill?" "Let's do it." Saying that, Su Annan took out the 3 vials that old lady Gu needed. Old lady Gu's eyes lit up as she said happily, "I'm muddled." This blatant cheating made Gu Ziming completely dumbfounded. "Grandma, you..." Gu Ziming reported. Old lady Gu glanced at him and said unhappily, "We what? We colluded, right? Old man, did you see Annan and me colluding to play cards?" "Nope," Gu Zhen said. Gu Ziming was startled. Even if he said it, it was for nothing. Grandfather is also someone who's mine. Why would he stand on his side? Hurry up and pay. Grandma, I don't have any money left. Can I owe you something? Gu Ziming haggled. Old lady Gu's face tensed up and replied, "No." When she finished speaking, Su Annan handed over the promissory note she wrote, and the old mistress praised with a smile. Annan is so obedient. This different treatment made Gu Ziming want to smash his head against a wall. He was sure that when second uncle came back, he was definitely helping his wife. Poor him. Been squashed by 2 couples for a long time. Su Annan knew the reason behind old lady Gu's victory. She began to make herself lose a little less, and occasionally she would win a round or 2 herself. In every game, she played big and won again. This game can win back the money lost in several games. The most miserable one was Gu Ziming. At first, he thought Su Annan was the last one left to him. He learned from Su Annan and went easy on his grandmother. Once the cards were out, old lady Gu would beat him up. Saying that he didn't know how to play mahjong wasn't fun at all. Gu Ziming realized that what he had done was wrong in the old mistress' heart. Whatever Su Annan did, the old lady seemed to be right. The difference was, this was a huge difference. The 4 of them fought until it was time for dinner. After dinner, the madam pulled the 3 of them to continue the fight. After waiting for the madam to win quite a bit of money, she decided not to play anymore. Su Annan heaved a sigh of relief and counted the money she had lost to the old lady. The one who lost the most was Gu Ziming. He had lost most of his living expenses for the next 3 months, and wanted to ask the old lady if he could come back. Su Annan got up from the table, and when she saw the servant that was carrying the tea, she remembered about the soup. Previously, the madam had forgotten about this matter due to her concern for the mahjong. As such, she did not retreat fast enough, but she had to wait for a long time. Su Annan told them that she was tired and quickly returned to her room. Old lady Gu sat for a while longer and thought of the soup in the kitchen. She wanted Su Annan to drink it, wanted her daughter-in-law to already be asleep, so she set her sights on Gu Ziming. Ziming, Grandma made a soup for you and then went to sleep. When Gu Ziming came back, he clearly heard the old mistress say that the soup was for Su Annan. He did not want to drink what old lady Gu made. It was extremely bad. Old lady Gu asked the servant to bring the soup over while he spoke. Gu Zhen said to Gu Ziming lightly, "Sleep after you finish drinking." In his grandfather's heart, whatever his grandma did was right. "Drink it," old lady Gu urged. Gu Ziming held the greasy soup. Thinking to himself how much oil his granny had poured into it, he clenched his teeth, closed his eyes and took a big gulp. The soup was so salty that he didn't want to drink anymore. He put down the bowl and ran upstairs. Su Anon looked at the time, and at around 10 in the evening, she took out Gu Mocheng's phone and called him. The first time she called, there was a beep-beep sound. Gu Mocheng did not answer her call. Realizing that Gu Mocheng was busy, Su Anon went to take a bath first. Just as she finished washing up in the bathroom, she heard her cell phone ringing and quickly picked it up. She almost fell over because she was in a hurry and she wasn't wearing shoes. "Hubby," she called. "Yes." When Gu Mocheng heard her soft voice, he immediately thought of Su Anon's shy face as he blew on the balcony. However, he missed her for a day. Gu Mocheng took a puff on his cigarette and continued to chat with Su Anon on the phone. "Still not sleeping? Waiting for your call," Su Anon said. She didn't dare to speak the truth and told Gu Mocheng that she had been screwing with his mother until now. "What were you doing?" "He didn't answer my call." Gu Mocheng heard the question from her mouth and smiled. He turned to look at the group of people drinking in the private box. "They're at a social gathering. I didn't hear anything." "Oh. Yes," Su Anon replied, knowing that Gu Mocheng had rushed to Jingcheng in a hurry to take care of official matters. "You should drink less wine." She thought about it and warned Gu Mocheng, afraid that he would drink too much. "Yes," Gu Mocheng replied. He liked listening to Su Anon's concerns. Then, the two of them went silent. Su Anon stood at the window and raised her head to look at the sky outside, saying joyfully, "The weather in the old house seems better looking than the one in the city. There are a lot of stars today." "It's raining here," Gu Mocheng replied. The rain was pouring heavily, patting the window. "Yeah, I heard it. It's raining heavily. Hubby, when are you coming back?" Su Anon asked. Gu Mocheng was not sure, but there was a problem with his collaboration with the Exu family. He would need to stay for a few more days. As soon as possible. Su Anon knew that Gu Mocheng was someone who kept his promises. It must be because the matter was very thorny, so he had no way of determining when he would return. "Go rest," Gu Mocheng said to Su Anon. Just as he finished speaking, Su Anon heard the woman's voice from the other side of the phone. "Mr. Gu, why are you smoking alone here?" The woman's voice was very gentle and very comfortable. Su Anon immediately tensed up, holding her breath as she listened to their conversation. "Anon, go to sleep," Gu Mocheng said again. He glanced at the woman beside him and understood the reason why Su Anon did not hang up. "Don't worry." The two simple words made Su Anon feel at ease. She reluctantly ended the call and spoke to Gu Mocheng, who was on the other end of the phone. "Hubby, I missed you." "Good night." Without waiting for Gu Mocheng to reply, Su Anon hung up first. Hearing that Su Anon was thinking of him, Gu Mocheng smiled. This little girl had made him think of her on purpose. "Mr. Gu." The woman walked to Gu Mocheng's side and saw his smile. She was stunned on the spot. "Miss Exu," Gu Mocheng said. He had come to Jingcheng twice, and was both received by this Miss Exu. Gu Mocheng thought of something and asked, "Miss Exu, can you allow me to customize your jewelry better than the Xiao clan of Peace City? Can you get someone to bring me to Exu tomorrow to customize a piece of jewelry for you?" There were too many similarities in the mall. Gu Mocheng wanted the Exu to customize it for him. "Is the Mr. Gu a gift?" Miss Exu family asked with a smile, her eyes shining as she looked at Gu Mocheng. "Is it to send mother or sister?" "Wife," Gu Mocheng directly said, ignoring the admiration in the eyes of the young Miss of Exu family. "Wife?" She didn't remember Gu Mocheng getting married. The smile on her face faded, and she quickly revealed a smile again. "I didn't hear about Mr. Gu getting married before. We were married the last time we came, but we didn't have a banquet." Gu Mocheng continued, "On the day of the banquet, Miss Exu and I will be invited to Peace City for some wedding wine." "Oh." Miss Exu smiled. "Madame Gu must be very beautiful." Thinking about Su Anon, Gu Mocheng softly replied, "Man. She's beautiful." "More beautiful than me?" Miss Exu family asked. Gu Mocheng replied seriously, "The Miss Exu is also beautiful, but in my heart, I think my wife is the most beautiful." With that, Gu Mocheng finished smoking the cigarette in his hand, and extinguished the cigarette in his hand. "Miss Exu will continue to blow. I will go in first." Miss Exu family watched as Gu Mocheng entered the private box, the smile on his face completely disappearing. Men like Gu Mocheng were really liked by women. Gu Mocheng had accepted a woman's suggestion countless of times, but he either rejected it or turned a blind eye to it. Now that he had Su Anon, he would definitely not place any other women in his eyes. Because she was in a foreign place and she didn't have Gu Mocheng by her side, Su Anon only fell asleep after arriving at the back. When she woke up in the morning, she checked her phone to see that it was 10 o'clock. She immediately got up, afraid that she would give Gu Zhen and the old lady Ge a bad impression. She walked to the door and saw a slip of paper lying on the floor. Su Annan, our business is not over. This was what Gu Ziming had left behind. He had already left long ago and did not dare to stay at home anymore. As for his debt with Su Annan, he could not let it go like this. Gu Ziming was sure that his second uncle didn't know of Su Annan's skill in driving, because his second uncle hated people who play a dangerous game like driving. He threatened Su Annan with this matter, and she dared to disobey him. In the Gu mansion, if someone like his grandma who protected him could not say that Su Annan would race and his grandma would praise her too. He remembered this. He would settle this score with Su Annan next time he meets her. At the bottom of the slip of paper was Gu Ziming's phone number. Su Annan understood what he meant. She was also afraid that Gu Mocheng would know, so she wrote down Gu Ziming's number and then destroyed the paper slip. Su Annan did not go down the stage. Instead, when she heard the commotion downstairs, she looked down and saw 3 old ladies around the same age as old Lady Gu sitting in the living room. Annan, come here. Old Lady Gu saw Su Annan and waved at her. Su Annan walked in front of old Lady Gu, who held her hand and said while smiling, beautiful. Your girlfriend. Su Annan's age made people easily think that she was Gu Ziming's girlfriend, and would definitely not think that she was Gu Mocheng's wife. Wrong, my family made it. Old Lady Gu said proudly. My wife, she repeated, afraid that the 3 men in front of her were not listening. How could that be? An old lady said in surprise. Looking at the age of the little girl, she should be around 10 years younger than Mocheng. 11, the old Lady Gu said. The difference is too great. Old Lady Gu was not happy for others to say that she had a son and daughter-in-law. She looked at the old lady who was speaking and said unhappily, the woman your Xiao Yan is playing with is also around the same as Anan. Old Madame Xiao kept her mouth shut after hearing Old Lady Gu's words. Old Lady Gu laughed and said happily, after a while, I will be able to carry my grandson. None of the 3 old women had a son, so they were all worried about their son's marriage. When they received the call from Old Lady Gu in the morning, they came over to chat. Who knew that Old Lady Gu was there to show off their daughter-in-law? Who told their sons to be disappointed one by one? They were all too old to hurry up and get married and have children. They had to either ignore their career or play with women outside. Previously, when Gu Mocheng wasn't married, they were huddled together and talking about their son, gossiping about which family's young miss was good, and the matter of a blind date.